What the NFL has given me is priceless, man. The ups, the downs, the memories. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm a Brit, born and raised here. Growing up in London, man, there's nothing like it. I think it forces you to grow up quickly when you live in a city, and looking back on it, I think I wouldn't trade it in for anything. So right now, we're on Cowmore Road in northwest London. This is the street I grew up on with my mum and my two older brothers. It's part of my identity, man. This is my childhood growing up in London. This park actually looks nice now. It didn't used to seem so nice, man. A lot of apartment buildings and flats that have gone up now that look pretty nice. None of that was here. We used to have English football tournaments out here, five-a-side, you know, typical games. It may not look like it, but the park is actually nicer than it used to be. We got some kids coming to play basketball right now. You know, maybe they're gonna be the next ones coming over to the States like I was. It's good to see that not everything's changed, you know, some things are still the same. Growing up in the house, it was me, my two older brothers and my mum. We were three boys, so it was very tough on my mum just trying to keep us in order. Everything was competition. I mean, I would try and keep up with them with everything. Playing like computer games, Super Nintendo, like Mario Kart, Street Fighter. And there would be times when I would be crying, I would be like, no, play me again, play me again. That definitely kind of built some of that competitiveness I have inside of me. My oldest brother, he was one of the better basketball players in England. My middle brother, he was the captain of the England team at one point. That kind of jump-started my career into basketball. You know, I wanted to kind of be like them. When I was young, I was like a dreamer. I was always been big into like watching movies, and I watched sports movies like any given Sunday, and I was like, oh, I want to be an American football player. And then I'm watching Space Jam, and I'm like, oh, I want to be a basketball player. I was always like the athlete in school. Like people knew me as the one who was good at sports. I had the physical ability to compete at these sports. Yeah, that got me into playing club basketball over here. I was playing everywhere in London. East London was my team, the East London Royals. The boroughs compete, so I'll be playing for Camden, and then from that they kind of pick who's going to compete nationally. So I had the opportunity to play for the England team and a few competitions in Europe. There was a camp in New Jersey. It's in South New Jersey. The local high schools would come, see these kids, and they have like foreign exchange student programs set up for them. I had interest from a school called St. Augustine Prep. And yeah, I ended up kind of leaving at 16 and going over to New Jersey. Playing high school basketball, you know fairly early if you have a shot. It definitely hit me hard, and my dreams of becoming an NBA player, I felt it kind of slipping away. My junior year in high school, when I was about 17 years old, I just went out for the American football team that year also, because the two seasons don't conflict. And I thought, why not? You know, I played rugby here. Why not play American football over there? I felt like I could play the sport. To me, it came natural, the movements of the sport. At first, I hated the sport. Even with the success I was having, I didn't see it as a success because I didn't like the sport. It was outside. I hated being outside in the winter. I was like, you know, basketball's inside. At least I don't have to be freezing cold, you know, during the season. And then the off season came, and then I saw the rankings and all the positive feedback. And then, it changed my mindset about the sport. You know what? Maybe I have a shot. And once you realize that you might have potential in something, that will change your attitude to the sport itself. And then as you play more and more, you enjoy it more. And I had all these schools coming to visit my high school, Notre Dame, Florida, Texas, Ohio State, California, all of these letters coming in, and all these coaches wanted to see me. That alone like inspired me to kind of, you know, put a little bit more thought into this. I went to Penn State, and going into my sophomore year, I mean, I burst onto the scene. I think I was 5th in the country for tackles for loss, 10th in sacks. You know, I was projected to go early second, late first round. Hit my junior year, I get injured, things start to go downhill again. Senior year, come back and have a good season, and then ended up getting drafted in the 5th round by Oakland Raiders. You go through all these interviews, these tests, combine, everything, your game film, and you're just waiting to see what happens on that one night. The first people I called were obviously my family back home, and man, they were just over the moon. They couldn't believe it. My mom, my brothers, everybody was just proud. So yeah, it was special, man, at that point. It was a great experience, great feeling. I can look back, with a sense of pride. You're working year round for one specific thing. In my position, it's getting to the quarterback. So to sack Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, or Eli Manning, that's what you're doing everything for. Every single action in the day of every day are geared to that one moment, to when I hit Tom Brady finally. I've only done it once.
On him again. And the Cowboys defense has yet another sack.
Jack Crawford, here he comes.
Hopefully, one day I'll be telling my kids that I tackled what I think is the best quarterback of all time.
Did you guys win that game?
No, we lost. I mean, in some ways, I won in that game, but no, that's something you're not supposed to say amongst the coaches and the team. But it was years ago now. I mean, if you have a good game and the team loses, let's just say you're still good. You're not losing any sleep that night. Not many people from Northwest London can say they've sacked Tom Brady. Man, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. There's no feeling like it. There's no words to describe the feeling when I get up. You're just in complete flow. It's what I like to think of as just living, man. That's life. That's living in the moment. You can't compute a thought in that process, because all the hard work I put in, everything I've done, was for that moment. So, I'll carry that with me forever.